The stars looked different when you were about to die. Captain Jake Morrison stood on the bridge of Earth Defense Station Olympus, watching the massive alien ships appear on his screens. They dropped out of hyperspace like dark angels, 12 vessels, each the size of a small city. The enemy had finally come to Earth. "Contact at Jupiter's orbit, sir," Lieutenant Amy Rodriguez called from her station. Her voice stayed steady, but Jake could see her hands shake as she worked the controls. 12 ships, unknown design. "They're big, Captain, really big." Jake nodded and walked to the main display. The alien vessels hung in space like sleeping giants. Their hulls were black and smooth, with no windows or visible weapons, but something about them made his skin crawl. These ships were built for one thing: war. "How long until they reach Earth?" Jake asked. "At current speed, about 6 hours, Rodriguez answered. "But sir, they're not moving fast. It's like they want us to see them coming." Down in the engineering section, Ben Parker was already running checks on all systems. The station's weapons were old but reliable. Earth's defense grid was the best humanity could build, but everyone knew it was nothing compared to what the aliens probably had. Ben had worked on these systems for 15 years. He knew every wire, every circuit, every weak point. "All weapons online," Ben reported over the comm. "Shields at maximum power." "But Captain, if those ships are what I think they are, we're going to need more than weapons." Jake understood. Earth's military had been preparing for this day for 20 years, ever since the first alien signals were detected. But preparing and being ready were two different things. The human race had built defenses, trained soldiers, and developed new weapons. Yet looking at those 12 ships, Jake knew it might not be enough. The aliens finally spoke. The communication came on all frequencies at once, drowning out every radio, television, and data signal on Earth. The voice was cold and mechanical, translated into perfect English by some kind of advanced system. "Primitive species of the third planet, you are Commander Vexthal of the Jakari Empire. Your world has been marked for removal. Your technology is crude, your military is weak, and your resistance is pointless. You have 1 hour to surrender all military forces and prepare for occupation. Failure to comply will result in your planet's destruction." Jake looked around the bridge. Every person there was thinking the same thing. 1 hour, the aliens were giving Earth 1 hour to give up everything humanity had built over thousands of years. "Sir," Rodriguez said quietly, "we're getting reports from all over the system. These aren't the only ships. There are more near Mars, and some kind of construction happening near the asteroid belt." Jake's blood went cold. The 12 ships near Jupiter were just the beginning. The aliens had brought an entire fleet, and they were building something. Something big. On the Luna Research Facility, Dr. Lisa Chun was having the worst day of her life. She had been working on advanced physics problems when the alien message came through. Now she was staring at readings that made no sense at all. "The energy signatures are impossible," she told her assistant, Dr. Kevin Wright. "These ships are using technology that shouldn't exist. They're manipulating space-time itself." Kevin looked at the data on his screen. "What kind of weapons do you think they have?" Lisa shook her head. "I don't know. But if they can bend space like this, they could probably destroy planets, maybe even stars." As if the aliens had heard her, another message came through. This one was different. It wasn't meant for everyone. It was meant for the people who would understand what was coming. "To the scientists of Earth," the voice said, "you will observe the power of the Jakari Empire. We deploy the Void Render, a weapon that has destroyed 3 civilizations before yours. It creates a localized gravitational collapse that will consume your planet's core. There is no defense, there is no escape, there is only the void." Lisa's hands flew over her keyboard, pulling up every piece of data she could find. The aliens were talking about some kind of gravitational weapon, something that would create a black hole right in the middle of Earth. "Kevin, get me everything we have on gravitational physics, and call Dr. Wright at the Tokyo facility. We need to understand what this weapon does." "Already on it," Kevin said. "But Lisa, if they're telling the truth, if this weapon really can create black holes, Then we're all dead, Lisa finished. Unless we can figure out how to stop it. Back on the defense station, Jake was coordinating with military leaders around the world. The aliens' 1-hour deadline was down to 30 minutes and no one was planning to surrender. All defense platforms report ready, came the voice of General Patricia Hayes from Earth Command. Ground-based weapons are armed and tracking the alien fleet. But Captain Morrison, we need to know what we're dealing with. Unknown weapons, unknown defenses, Jake replied. But they're confident, too confident. They think we're going to roll over and die. Are we? Rodriguez asked quietly. Jake looked at her. Amy Rodriguez had been with him for 3 years. She was smart, brave, and loyal. She deserved an honest answer. No, he said. We're not going to roll over. We're going to fight. And maybe, just maybe, we're going to win. The alien ships began to move. They didn't rush toward Earth like Jake expected. Instead, they spread out in a careful formation, each ship taking a specific position. It looked like they were preparing for something big. Sir? Ben's voice came over the comm. I'm reading massive energy buildup in the lead ship. Something's happening. On the main screen, the largest alien vessel began to glow. A section of its hull opened up, revealing a weapon that looked like a dark star. The weapon was beautiful and terrible at the same time. It pulled in light from around it, making the space nearby look empty and cold. The Void Render, Jake whispered. They're actually going to do it. The weapon fired. It wasn't like any weapon Jake had ever seen. There was no beam of light, no explosion, no flash. Instead, space itself seemed to bend around a small dark spot. That appeared between the alien ships and Earth. The spot grew larger and darker, pulling in bits of space debris and stray particles. Gravitational readings are off the charts, Rodriguez reported. That thing is creating its own gravity field. It's like a tiny black hole. How long until it reaches Earth? Jake asked. 4 hours, Rodriguez said. But sir, it's getting bigger. As it moves. By the time it gets here, it'll be strong enough to tear the planet apart. Jake felt the weight of 6 billion lives on his shoulders. Every person on Earth was depending on him and the other defenders to stop this weapon. But how do you stop a black hole? On Luna, Dr. Chen was asking the same question, but she was also asking a different one. How do you make a black hole? And more importantly, what happens to all the energy that goes into making one? Kevin, she said, I need you to run a simulation. What if this weapon isn't just a weapon? What if it's also a power source? Kevin looked at her like she was crazy. Lisa, that thing is going to destroy the Earth. What does it matter if it's a power source? Because, Lisa said, watching the dark spot grow on her screens, if it's a power source, then maybe we can turn it off. Or, better yet, maybe we can turn it around. The alien weapon moved through space toward Earth, growing stronger with each passing minute. On the defense station, Jake and his crew prepared for the fight of their lives. On Luna, Dr. Chan and her team raced to understand technology that was centuries ahead of anything humans had built, and in the dark between the stars, Commander Vexel watched his ultimate weapon approach the primitive world that had dared to defy the Jakari Empire. Soon, he thought, there would be nothing left but empty space where the third planet used to be, but the commander had made one mistake. He had assumed that humans would react to the Void Render like every other species the Jakari had conquered. He assumed they would panic, despair, and wait to die. He was wrong. Humans didn't wait to die. They got angry. And when humans got angry, they got creative. The dark weapon moved through space like a hungry shadow, growing larger with each passing hour. Dr. Lisa Shun had been awake for 18 hours straight, running calculations that should have been impossible. Her coffee had gone cold hours ago, but she didn't notice. The numbers on her screen were telling her something the aliens never expected anyone to figure out. Kevin, look at this, she called to her assistant. The energy readings from that weapon. It's not just destroying matter, it's converting it into pure energy first, then using that energy to maintain the gravitational field. Kevin Wright rubbed his tired eyes and looked at the data. So it's like an engine that runs on whatever it eats? Exactly. But here's the interesting part. The conversion process leaves a signature, a specific pattern in the energy output, and that pattern matches something we've been working on for years. Kevin's eyes went wide. The quantum field experiments. The ones that kept failing because we couldn't generate enough power. Right, this weapon is basically a giant version of our quantum field generator. Except it works because it has enough energy to sustain itself. But Kevin, if we can interrupt the energy flow, even for a few seconds, the whole thing should collapse. On the defense station, Captain Jake Morrison was listening to Dr. Chun's report with growing excitement. For the first time since the aliens arrived, someone was talking about stopping their weapon instead of just dying bravely. Dr. Chun, are you saying we can actually stop this thing? Jake asked. Maybe, but we would need to get close to it. Really close. And we would need to deploy a quantum field disruptor at exactly the right moment. The timing would have to be perfect. Lieutenant Amy Rodriguez looked up from her station. Sir, we have a problem. The experimental ship UES Defiant is the only vessel we have that could get close enough, but it's not built for combat. It's a research ship. Jake knew the Defiant. It was humanity's most advanced spacecraft, designed for deep space exploration. Lieutenant Colonel Pete Sullivan commanded it, and his crew had been testing new technologies for the past 2 years. The ship had experimental engines, advanced sensors, and something called quantum manipulation equipment. Get me Colonel Sullivan, Jake ordered. Pete Sullivan's face appeared on the main screen. He was a tall man with gray hair and steady eyes. Behind him, Jake could see the bridge of the Defiant, with its crew working frantically at their stations. Captain Morrison, Sullivan said, I've been monitoring the situation. My ship is ready for whatever you need. Colonel, we need someone to fly directly at that weapon and deploy a quantum field disruptor. It's probably a suicide mission. Sullivan didn't hesitate. When do we leave? Pete, wait, came a new voice. Major Claire Thompson, the Defiant's pilot, stepped into view. If we're going to do this, we need to do it right. That weapon is moving fast, and it's getting bigger. We'll only get one chance. What do you need? Jake asked. Time to modify our equipment. And someone who understands this quantum field theory. Dr. Chun, can you come aboard? Lisa looked at Kevin, then back at the screen. I'll be there in 2 hours. But I need to bring some equipment from the lab. We'll wait, Sullivan said, but not long. Every minute we delay, that weapon gets stronger. While Dr. Chun prepared for the most dangerous mission of her life, the alien weapon continued its approach to Earth. On the Jikari command ship, Commander Vexthal watched the humans' frantic activity with amusement. Sub-Commander Krelmach, he said to his science officer, what are the humans doing? They appear to be preparing some kind of counterattack, Commander. One of their ships is moving to intercept the Void Render. Vexthal laughed, a sound like grinding metal. Foolish creatures. They think they can stop a weapon that has destroyed entire civilizations. Let them try. When they fail, the survivors will understand the futility of resistance. But Krelmach was studying the sensor readings more carefully. Commander, their ship is equipped with some kind of quantum manipulation technology. It's primitive, but it might be able to interfere with the Void Render's energy matrix. Impossible, Vexthal snapped. No species has ever found a way to stop the Void Render. These humans are barely capable of spaceflight. Perhaps, Commander, but they are doing something unexpected. They're not running away. They're not trying to hide. They're attacking. Dr. Chun arrived at the Defiant with 3 cases of experimental equipment and a head full of theories she hoped would work. The ship was smaller than she expected, but it hummed with power. The crew was ready for anything. Dr. Chin, Colonel, Sullivan said, meet Sergeant Danny Cruz, our weapons specialist. He's going to help you install the quantum disruptor. Danny Cruz was a young man with quick hands and a sharp mind. He had been working with experimental weapons for 5 years, and he understood technology better than most engineers. Doc, I've been reading your reports, Danny said. This quantum field thing, it's like creating a bubble in space that pushes against the weapon's energy field, right? That's a simple way to put it, but yes. If we can create a strong enough field, we can disrupt the weapon's power source. But we need to be very close when we do it. How close? Major Thompson asked. Less than 1,000 kilometers. Probably less than 500. The bridge went quiet. 500 kilometers from a weapon that was creating its own black hole. It was close enough to be torn apart by the gravitational forces. Can the ship survive that? Sullivan asked. Thompson checked her instruments. The hull will hold, the engines might not. We'll probably only have enough power for one pass. Then we make it count, Sullivan said. Dr. Chun, how long do you need to set up the disruptor? 4 hours. Maybe 5 if we run into problems. You have 3 hours, Sullivan said, because that's when we need to intercept the weapon. After that, it'll be too close to Earth. While Dr. Chun and Danny worked on the quantum disruptor, the rest of the crew prepared the ship for the most dangerous mission in human history. The Defiant's engines were pushed to maximum power, racing to intercept the alien weapon before it could reach Earth. On Earth, billions of people watched the news reports and waited to see if humanity's desperate plan would work. In schools and offices, in homes and hospitals, people looked up at the sky and wondered if they would see another sunrise. Dr. Kevin Wright coordinated with research facilities around the world, gathering data on the weapon's approach. Every piece of information was sent to the Defiant, where Dr. Chun used it to fine-tune the quantum disruptor. Lisa, Kevin's voice, came through the CUM system. The weapon's energy output is increasing. It's pulling in more matter from space debris. That's actually good news, Lisa replied, her hands deep in the disruptor's control systems. The more energy it uses, the bigger the disruption will be when we hit it. How's the equipment coming? Sullivan asked. Almost ready. Danny's been a huge help. This disruptor is basically a modified mining laser connected to our quantum field generator. It should create a feedback loop in the weapon's energy matrix? Should? Thompson asked from the pilot's seat. Will, Lisa corrected herself. It will work. The Defiant approached the weapon with engines at full power. On the main screen, the dark spot looked like a hole in space itself. It was beautiful and terrifying at the same time. Energy readings are incredible, Danny reported. That thing is putting out more power than our entire planetary grid. Distance to target? Sullivan asked. 2,000 kilometers and closing, Thompson replied. The gravitational field is starting to affect our navigation. Lisa watched her instruments as the quantum disruptor powered up. The equipment was working perfectly, but she knew they would only get one shot. If the disruptor failed, the weapon would continue to Earth, and humanity would be extinct within hours. 1,000 kilometers, Thompson called. Disruptor ready, Lisa announced. 500 kilometers. Hull stress is increasing. Now! Sullivan ordered. Lisa activated the quantum disruptor. A beam of pure energy shot from the Defiant toward the alien weapon. For a moment, nothing happened. Then the dark spot began to flicker. It's working, Danny shouted. The weapon's energy field is destabilizing, but something was wrong. The weapon wasn't just stopping, it was changing. The dark spot was getting brighter, and energy was flowing in the opposite direction. The weapon is trying to adapt, Lisa realized. It's reversing the energy flow to compensate for the disruption. Can we stop it? Sullivan asked. Not from here. We need to get closer, much closer. Thompson looked at her instruments. If we get any closer, the gravitational field will tear the ship apart. Then we'll have to sacrifice the ship, Sullivan said quietly. Dr. Chun, can you modify the disruptor to work at point-blank range? Yes, but whoever deploys it won't survive. The energy feedback will destroy everything within 100 kilometers. Sullivan looked around the bridge at his crew. These were good people, brave people who had volunteered for a mission they knew was dangerous. Now he was asking them to die for it. Colonel, Danny said, we knew this was a one-way trip when we started. Let's finish it. Agreed, Thompson said. Take us in. The Defiant dove toward the alien weapon like a bullet. The hull groaned and sparked as gravitational forces tried to tear it apart, but the ship held together long enough for Lisa to make the final adjustments to the quantum disruptor. 50 kilometers, Thompson reported. 3 weeks passed since the Defiant's heroic sacrifice. and the alien fleet still hung in space near Jupiter like dark clouds before a storm. Commander Vexthal paced his command bridge, his clawed hands clicking against the metal railings. The destruction of the Void Render had shaken him more than he wanted to admit. "Sub-Commander Krelmak," he growled, "what is the status of our conventional weapons?" "All ships report ready, Commander. We have enough firepower to glass the entire planet's surface. But the High Command is asking questions about the Void Render's failure." Vexthal's eyes flashed with anger. The High Command wasn't here. They didn't see these humans do the impossible. These creatures shouldn't have been able to understand our technology, let alone destroy it. "Perhaps we underestimated them," Krelmak said carefully. "No," Vexthal snapped. "We simply need to use more direct methods. Prepare the fleet for planetary bombardment. We'll turn their cities to ash with conventional weapons." But the aliens didn't know what was happening on Earth, in laboratories hidden deep underground, in research facilities scattered across the moon, and in orbital stations that the alien sensors couldn't detect. Humanity was having the biggest breakthrough in its history. Dr. Kevin Wright stood in the Luna Research Facility, staring at data that should have been impossible. The quantum disruptor's interaction with the alien weapon had created something amazing. When Dr. Chun's device destroyed the Void Render, it had also captured and recorded the weapon's energy patterns. "Mary," Kevin called to his new assistant. "Dr. Mary Johnson, look at these readings." The alien weapon wasn't just creating a black hole. It was converting matter into exotic energy and then using that energy to maintain a stable gravitational field. Mary looked at the data on her screen. She was a young physicist who had joined the project after the alien attack. "That's incredible, but what does it mean?" "It means we can build one too, but better." In the main laboratory, Dr. Nathan Brooks was working with a team of engineers on the most ambitious project in human history. They had taken the energy signatures from the destroyed alien weapon and combined them with Earth's most advanced fusion research. "The theory is sound," Nathan explained to the team. "The aliens use exotic matter to create controlled gravitational fields. We can't make exotic matter, but we can create something similar using fusion reactions and antimatter." "But will it work?" asked Carl Davis, the former NASA engineer who had joined the project. "It should work better than their version. The alien weapon was designed to create destruction and then stop. Our version will be designed to create destruction and then keep going." Captain Jake Morrison visited the Luna facility to see the progress. For himself, the defense station had been rebuilt and upgraded with new weapons, but everyone knew the real work was happening in the secret laboratories. "Dr. Wright," Jake said, "I need to know if this new weapon will actually work. The aliens are getting ready to attack again, and Earth's conventional defenses won't stop them." Kevin led Jake to a secure viewing room where they could see the prototype being assembled. The device was smaller than expected, about the size of a refrigerator, but it hummed with barely contained energy. "We call it the Stellar Cascade," Kevin explained. "It works on the same principles as the alien weapon, but instead of creating a single black hole, it creates a chain reaction that spreads from target to target." "How does that help us?" Jake asked. "The alien ships are made of the same exotic matter they used in their weapon. The Stellar Cascade is designed to target that specific energy signature. When it hits one ship, it will jump to the next ship and the next until the entire fleet is destroyed." Jake felt a chill run down his spine. "You're talking about a weapon that could destroy entire fleets." "That's exactly what we're talking about. But Captain, there's something else. The cascade effect doesn't just destroy the target. It learns from it. Each ship it destroys makes the weapon stronger." In another part of the facility, Lieutenant Amy Rodriguez was working with a team of military engineers on the delivery system. The Stellar Cascade was powerful, but it needed to get close to the alien fleet to work. "The problem is stealth," Amy explained to the team. "The aliens have sensors that can detect our ships from millions of kilometers away. We need a way to get close without being seen." "What about the wreckage from the Defiant?" suggested Lieutenant Alex Turner, Earth's most skilled pilot. "Some of the debris was recovered," If we can study their stealth technology, maybe we can improve on it. Amy nodded. That's exactly what we need. But whoever pilots the delivery ship won't be coming back. The stellar cascade has to be deployed at point-blank range. I'll do it, Turner said without hesitation. Someone has to. The work continued day and night. Scientists who had never met before worked together on equations that pushed the boundaries of human understanding. Engineers built devices that used technologies humanity had only dreamed of months earlier. Dr. Brooks made a breakthrough in the weapons targeting system. I've figured out how to make the cascade more selective. Instead of just targeting exotic matter, we can program it to target specific energy signatures. It will only attack ships that match the alien fleet's specifications? That's important, Kevin said. We don't want this weapon to be used against other species later. It should only work against the ones who attacked us. General Patricia Hayes arrived at the facility with news from Earth's military command. The aliens are moving. Our sensors show they're preparing for a full-scale assault. How much time do you need? 2 days, Nathan replied. Maybe 3 if we run into problems. You have 1 day, Hayes said. After that, they'll start bombing our cities. The final phase of the project began. Teams of scientists worked around the clock to complete the stellar cascade. The weapon was more complex than anything humanity had ever built, but it was also more powerful than anything the aliens had ever faced. Dr. Wright made the final calculations for the weapon's deployment. The cascade effect will take approximately 4 minutes to destroy a 12-ship fleet. But once it starts, there's no stopping it. The reaction will continue until there are no more valid targets. What happens if there are other alien ships in the system? Jake asked. Then it will destroy them too. The cascade will spread to any ship with the right energy signature within a 3 light-year radius. Jake realized what this meant. The weapon wouldn't just destroy the invasion fleet. It would destroy every Shikari ship in the solar system and possibly beyond. Are we sure we want to do this? He asked quietly. Captain, Kevin said, they came here to destroy our entire planet, 6 billion people. They were going to kill every man, woman, and child on Earth without a second thought. This weapon gives us the chance to send a message that humanity will not be conquered. The delivery system was ready. A modified stealth ship, built using technology salvaged from the Defiant, would carry the stellar cascade to the alien fleet. The ship was small and fast, designed to avoid detection until the last possible moment. Who's going to pilot it? Hayes asked. I am, Jake said. This is my responsibility. No, came a voice from the doorway. Dr. Kevin Wright stepped into the room. I built this weapon. I should be the one to deploy it. Both of you are too valuable, Hayes said. We need someone else. General, Turner said, I've been training for this mission for weeks. I know the ship better than anyone. And I know the risks. The final preparations were made. The stellar cascade was loaded onto the stealth ship, along with enough fuel for a one-way trip to the alien fleet. The ship was christened Phoenix 1, after the mythical bird that rose from its own ashes. Turner's crew was small but skilled. Besides Turner himself, the ship carried Dr. Wright to make final adjustments to the weapon, and Lieutenant Sarah Martinez, a communications specialist who would broadcast humanity's message to the aliens. What message? Jake asked. That we're not the primitive species they thought we were, Wright replied. That we can take their most powerful weapon and make it into something they never imagined. And that if they ever threaten Earth again, we'll be ready. Phoenix 1 launched from the far side of the moon, using gravitational assists from several planets to approach the alien fleet without being detected. The journey would take 18 hours, giving Wright time to make final adjustments. To the stellar cascade on the alien command ship, Commander Vexthal was preparing for the final assault on Earth. Deploy the fleet in bombardment formation. We'll start with their largest cities and work our way down. Commander, Krelmak said, I'm detecting a small energy signature approaching our position. It's very faint, but it's moving fast. Probably. Space debris? Vexthal dismissed. These humans have too much junk floating around their system. But Krelmak was studying the readings more carefully. Sir, the signature is too regular to be debris. It's definitely artificial. Then destroy it, Vexthel ordered. I don't want any surprises. The alien fleet turned its sensors toward the approaching object, but the human stealth technology was better than they expected. Phoenix 1 remained invisible to their scans, closing the distance to the alien fleet with each passing hour. Inside the ship, Wright made final adjustments to the stellar cascade. The weapon was ready. Phoenix 1 glided through space like a shadow, invisible to the alien sensors that swept the area around Jupiter. Inside the small ship, Lieutenant Alex Turner watched the alien fleet grow larger on his screens. 12 massive warships hung in perfect formation, their dark hulls reflecting no light from the distant sun. 2 hours to target, Turner announced quietly. Dr. Kevin Wright checked the stellar cascade one final time. The weapon hummed with contained energy, its exotic matter core stable and ready. Everything they had learned from the destroyed alien weapon had gone into building this device. It was humanity's answer to the Jakari Empire's arrogance. The cascade is ready, Wright reported. Targeting systems are locked onto the alien energy signatures. Once we deploy it, the reaction should spread through their entire fleet in less than 4 minutes. Lieutenant Sarah Martinez was preparing the message that would be broadcast to both the aliens and Earth. It wasn't long, but it said everything that needed to be said. People of Earth and the Jakari Empire, she practiced. Today humanity proves that we will not be conquered, we will not surrender, and we will turn your own weapons against you. On the alien command ship, Commander Vexthel was growing impatient. His orders from the High Command were clear: destroy the human homeworld and move on to the next system. But something about these humans bothered him. No species had ever destroyed a void render before. Sub-Commander Krelmak, he called, begin the bombardment sequence. Target their largest population centers first. Yes, Commander, Krelmak replied. But as he prepared the weapons, his sensors detected something unusual. Sir, I'm reading a faint energy signature approaching our position. It's very small, but it's definitely artificial. Vexthel looked at the sensor display. The object was tiny compared to his massive warships, barely the size of an escape pod. Probably debris from their destroyed ship. Ignore it. Commander, the object is on a direct course for our fleet. And it's accelerating. Then shoot it down, Vexthel ordered. I don't want any more surprises from these humans. The alien fleet's point defense weapons came online, searching for the small target. But Phoenix 1's stealth technology was based on lessons learned from the Defiant's sacrifice. The ship remained invisible to their targeting systems. Turner pushed the engines to maximum power as weapon beams swept the space around them. They know we're here, but they can't see us. How much longer do we need? 30 minutes to optimal deployment range, Wright answered. But we could deploy now if we have to. No, Turner said firmly. We get one shot at this. We're going to do it right. The chase continued through the asteroid belt. Alien ships spread out to search for the invisible intruder, but Phoenix 1 was too small and too fast. Turner used his skills as Earth's best pilot to dodge between asteroids and avoid the sweeping sensor beams on Earth. Captain Jake Morrison watched the mission from the defense station. He couldn't help Phoenix 1 directly, but he could see everything that was happening through their communication link. Phoenix 1, this is Olympus Station, he transmitted. The aliens are spreading out to search for you. They're getting worried. Copy that, Olympus, Turner replied. Good, worried aliens make mistakes. As if to prove his point, one of the alien ships moved too close to a large asteroid while searching. The ship's engines destabilized the asteroid's orbit, sending chunks of rock flying in all directions. Phoenix 1 used the debris cloud as cover, getting even closer to the main fleet. Wright made final adjustments to the stellar cascade. The weapon is targeting 12 distinct energy signatures. Each alien ship has a slightly different resonance frequency. The cascade will jump from ship to ship automatically. What about their shields? Martinez asked. Their shields are made of the same exotic matter as their hulls. The cascade will treat the shields as additional fuel for the reaction. Commander. Vexler was becoming increasingly frustrated. His sensors could detect energy disturbances, but they couldn't lock onto the source. It was like trying to catch smoke with his bare hands. Deploy fighter craft, he ordered. Search every piece of debris in this area, find that ship. Hundreds of small alien fighters launched from the main fleet, spreading out in search patterns. But they were looking for a conventional ship, not one equipped with quantum stealth technology. Turner watched the fighters swarm around Phoenix 1 without seeing it. They're right on top of us, but their sensors can't penetrate our stealth. Field, Dr. Wright, how much longer? 5 minutes to optimal range. But Alex, once we deploy the cascade, we need to broadcast the message immediately. The aliens will probably destroy us before the reaction completes. That's the plan, Turner said calmly. Sarah, are you ready? Martinez nodded, her hand hovering over the transmission controls. Ready to send on your mark. Phoenix 1 reached the edge of the alien formation. The massive warships filled the view screen, their hulls dark and menacing. Each ship was easily 100 times larger than Phoenix 1, bristling with weapons that could destroy planets. Deployment range achieved, Wright announced. Stellar Cascade is armed and ready. Turner looked at his two crewmates. They had known from the beginning that this was a one-way mission, but seeing the alien fleet up close made the reality hit home. They were 3 humans in a tiny ship, about to challenge an empire that had conquered dozens of worlds. Any last words? Turner asked. Yeah, Wright said. The aliens wanted to show us their ultimate weapon. Let's show them ours. For Earth, Martinez added simply. Turner pressed the deployment button. The stellar cascade launched from Phoenix 1 like a brilliant star. Unlike the alien weapon, which had been dark and hungry, the human weapon blazed with light. It struck the nearest alien ship and immediately began its work. The effect was beautiful and terrible. The alien ship's hull began to glow as its exotic matter was converted into pure energy. But instead of creating a black hole, the energy formed. Cascading waves that jumped to the next ship, then the next. It's working, Wright shouted. The cascade is spreading through their fleet. Commander Vexthal watched in horror as his ships began to light up like candles. What is happening? Report! The humans have deployed some kind of energy weapon, Krelmack reported, his voice shaking. It's converting our hull material into plasma. The reaction is spreading to all ships. Impossible. No species has ever developed technology superior to ours. But the evidence was right in front of him. The human weapon was doing something the Jakari had never imagined. Instead of simply destroying matter, it was learning from each ship it consumed, becoming stronger and more efficient. Phoenix 1 became visible as its stealth field overloaded. Immediately, dozens of alien weapons turned toward the small ship. Sarah, now! Turner yelled. Martinez activated the broadcast system. Her voice went out on all frequencies, reaching every ship in the alien fleet and every receiver on Earth. People of Earth and warriors of the Jakari Empire, this is Lieutenant Sarah Martinez of the human ship Phoenix 1. Today, humanity delivers its response to your attack. You came to our world with your ultimate weapon, thinking we were too primitive to resist. You were wrong. Alien weapon beams struck Phoenix 1, but the ship held together long enough for the message to continue. We studied your weapon, we learned from it, and we built something better. The stellar cascade now consuming your fleet doesn't just destroy. It adapts, it learns. It grows stronger with every target it consumes. The cascade was moving faster now, jumping from ship to ship with increasing speed. Each vessel it touched burst into brilliant light before being converted into energy that fed the reaction. You wanted to show the galaxy what happens to species that resist the Jakari Empire. Instead, you've shown them what happens to empires that underestimate humanity. We don't just survive, we adapt, we improve. And we turn your own weapons against you? Phoenix 1's hull began to crack under the alien weapons fire, but Martinez kept talking. To any other species listening to this message, Earth stands ready to defend itself and our allies. To the Jakari Empire, if you ever threaten our world again, remember what happened here today. Remember that humans don't just fight back. We fight back better. The transmission ended as Phoenix 1 exploded in a ball of flame, but their sacrifice had already achieved its purpose. The stellar cascade was spreading through the alien fleet like wildfire, converting exotic matter into energy and using that energy to jump to the next target. Commander Vexthal watched his flagship's hull begin to glow. Emergency escape pods, abandoned ship, but it was too late. The cascade had reached the command vessel and the reaction was accelerating. The exotic matter that made the Jakari fleet so powerful was now the source of its destruction. How is this possible? Vexthal demanded as his ship began to tear itself apart. Krelmach, even as he prepared for death, found the answer in his sensors. Commander, the humans didn't just copy our technology. They improved it. Their weapon learns from each target, becoming more efficient with every ship it destroys. Impossible! We are the most advanced species in the galaxy. No, Commander, Krelmach said quietly. The stellar cascade completed its work in exactly 3 minutes and 47 seconds. 12 of the most powerful warships in the Jakari fleet were reduced to energy and scattered particles. The light from the stellar cascade spread across space like ripples on a pond, but these ripples carried death to anyone who used Jakari technology. 3 months after the destruction of the invasion fleet, the cascade was still expanding, following quantum communication trails back to the heart of the Jakari Empire, on the Jakari homeworld of Shakhtar. High Admiral Morden stood in the emergency command center, watching reports pour in from across the Empire. Entire star systems had gone dark. Military bases that had stood for centuries were simply gone, consumed by the human weapon that seemed to hunt Jakari technology with deadly intelligence. Status report, Morden ordered, his voice tight with barely controlled fear. We've lost contact with 43 military installations, 17 supply depots, and 2 entire colony worlds, reported his aide, Commander Veltek. The energy cascade is still expanding. It's following our communication networks and destroying everything with a Jakari energy signature. How is this possible? These humans were supposed to be primitive. They barely had spaceflight when we first detected them. Admiral, Veltek said carefully, our intelligence was wrong. The humans didn't just survive our ultimate weapon. They learned from it, they made it better. On Earth, the months following the victory had brought changes that no one could have imagined. Dr. Kevin Wright, now promoted to head of the newly formed Human Advancement Initiative, stood in a laboratory that had been built inside a hollowed-out asteroid. The facility was 10 times larger than anything Earth had possessed before the war. The exotic matter principles we learned from the Jakari weapon have revolutionized everything, Wright explained to a group of visiting scientists. We've developed faster-than-light travel, unlimited energy generation, and manufacturing techniques. That seemed impossible 6 months ago. Dr. Mary Johnson, now Wright's deputy director, gestured to a display showing the solar system. We have construction projects underway at 12 different locations. Orbital cities, deep space research stations, and defensive platforms that make the old Earth Defense Station look like a toy. Captain Jake Morrison, now Admiral Morrison and commander of Earth's expanding fleet, watched the first human ship equipped with stellar cascade technology prepare for its maiden voyage. The U's Vengeance was sleek and deadly, carrying weapons that could destroy entire fleets without risking human lives. Admiral, called Captain Riddestone, Morrison's former second-in-command and now captain of the Vengeance, all systems are ready for the test flight. We'll be jumping to the Alpha Centauri system for weapons trials, Morrison nodded. Good hunting, Captain. And remember, this isn't just about testing our new technology. It's about showing the galaxy that Earth is ready to defend itself and our friends. The Vengeance disappeared in a flash of light, crossing 4 light years in less than an hour. The ship's exotic matter engines were based on technology that had been designed to destroy Earth, but human engineers had turned it into something that would carry humanity to the stars. Word of humanity's victory had spread throughout the galaxy faster than the stellar cascade itself. On hundreds of worlds, species that had lived in fear of the Jakari Empire began to hope for the first time in generations on the water world of Aquanis. Ambassador Trillon of the Aquanic Republic called an emergency session of their ruling council. The humans have done something no species has accomplished in 3 centuries. They've not only defeated a Jakari invasion, they've crippled the entire empire. Are we certain these humans can be trusted? Asked Counselor Murden. What if they simply replace the Jakari as the galaxy's oppressors? Their broadcast message suggested otherwise. Trillon replied, they spoke of defending themselves and their allies. They didn't threaten to conquer anyone. Similar conversations were taking place on dozens of worlds. The crystalline collective of Zarian began preparing diplomatic messages. The hive minds of the Antaran cluster started calculating the benefits of human alliance. Even the isolated machine worlds sent out probe ships to gather more information about this new galactic power, but the most important conversation was happening on the Jakari homeworld, where High Admiral Morden was facing the Council of Empire leaders for what he knew would be the last time. The humans must be stopped, declared Supreme Commander Zechthel. We cannot allow this defeat to stand. Deploy the reserve fleets. Gather allies from our subject worlds. We will crush these primitives and reclaim our position. With respect, Supreme Commander, Morden said, we no longer have the strength to crush anyone. The stellar cascade has destroyed 60% of our military capacity. Our subject worlds are in open rebellion, and the humans have shown they can turn our own weapons against us. Are you suggesting we surrender to these animals? I'm suggesting we negotiate before they decide we're too dangerous to leave alive. The council chamber erupted in angry voices, but Morden knew the truth. The Jakari Empire was dying, killed, by a species they had dismissed as beneath notice. On Earth, humanity was preparing for the next phase of their expansion into space. The Luna Research Facility had been expanded into a full university, where scientists from around the world came to study exotic matter physics and quantum cascade technology. Dr. Nathan Brooks, working with an international team, had made another breakthrough. We figured out how to modify the stellar cascade to be more selective. Instead of targeting all Jakari technology, we can program it to target specific threat signatures. What does that mean? Asked General Patricia Hayes, who now commanded Earth's military expansion. It means we can create weapons that only attack ships with hostile intent. The cascade can be programmed to ignore merchant vessels, civilian ships, and diplomatic craft. It will only target military vessels that are actively threatening human interests. This development changed everything. Humanity could now project power across the galaxy without risking innocent lives. The weapon that had begun as a tool of planetary destruction had become a precision instrument of justice. The first test came when a group of Jakari extremists, refusing to accept their empire's defeat, attacked a human exploration ship near the Rigel system. The UES Explorer was a civilian vessel, carrying scientists and diplomats on a mission to make contact with local species. Captain Lisa Park of the Explorer sent out a distress call as 3 Jakari destroyers closed in on her ship. This is Captain Park to any human vessels. We are under attack by 3 enemy ships. Repeat, we are under attack. The call was answered not by a human ship, but by something far more deadly. A stellar cascade, launched from a hidden defense platform, appeared in the Rigel system within minutes. The weapon ignored the Explorer completely and focused on the 3 attacking vessels, the Jakari. Ships were destroyed in seconds, their exotic matter hulls converted into energy that simply dispersed into space. The cascade then vanished, its job complete. All alien vessels in this system, came a broadcast from the defense platform. This is Earth Defense Command. Any unprovoked attack on human vessels will result in immediate retaliation. We do not seek conflict, but we will defend ourselves and our allies. The message was heard across the galaxy. Humanity had developed weapons that could strike anywhere, anytime, with precision that seemed almost magical. But more importantly, they had shown restraint. The cascade could have destroyed every ship in the system, but it had only targeted the aggressors, 6 months after the original invasion, the first alien delegation arrived at Earth. Ambassador Vekval of the Jakari Empire came not as a conqueror, but as a supplicant seeking peace. "We were wrong," Vekval admitted to the human negotiation team. "We saw your species as primitive and weak. We thought your technology was crude and your military was laughable. We could not have been more mistaken." Admiral Morrison, now serving as Earth's primary military diplomat, listened to the alien's words with careful attention. "Ambassador, your empire attacked our world with a weapon designed to kill every living thing on Earth. 6 billion people would have died if we hadn't found a way to stop you. Why should we trust you now?" "Because," Vekval said simply, "you have proven something that no other species has ever proven. You can take our most advanced technology and make it better. You can turn our greatest weapons against us. And most importantly, you have shown mercy when you could have shown conquest." The negotiations continued for weeks, but the outcome was never in doubt. The Jakari Empire agreed to a complete ceasefire, the return of all occupied worlds and reparations to the species they had oppressed. In return, humanity agreed not to use the stellar cascade against Jakari civilian populations, but the real change came from other species. Within a year of the Jakari defeat, Earth had received diplomatic requests from over 200 alien civilizations. Some wanted trade agreements. Others wanted defense pacts. A few wanted to learn human technology. All of them wanted the same thing: protection from the next empire that might try to conquer them. Dr. Wright, now director of the Galactic Research Institute, stood on the observation deck of humanity's first interstellar city, built in orbit around Proxima Centauri. Through the transparent walls, he could see ships from dozens of worlds docking at the station's ports. "It's amazing," said Dr. Johnson, joining him at the window.